Did you know you can read someone's message without it being marked as seen? Kind of sneakily. Did you know you can figure out the exact hashtag reach that you get from each hashtag on each individual post? Well, you should know that because you watch this channel, but there's an update about that. Did you know that you can? Yeah, we have a couple of more ones coming up here on this video. Some secret ones you probably never heard about before. We're talking about Instagram hacks, right? Did I say that we talk about Instagram hacks in case you didn't understand that from the title and the thumbnail? But anyway, let's get into that. Welcome back, Dominators. Let me whip out my phone here. You probably know it. You get a DM from somebody and you're like, okay, I want to read it. I want to know what's up, but I don't want the person to know that I read it for some particular reason. Don't ask me why. So I figured there's got to be a way to actually read the message without it being marked as seen or read. So I just got a message from somebody, and there's actually a few ways that you can do this. First of all, you gotta be really fast with your fingers. You gotta hit the message button and then hit again. Yeah, I'm gonna have to show it. I'm gonna have to show you how it actually works. Hit this, and then right there before it's closed, and I was too slow. You gotta kind of double tap. Where's the like? You gotta kind of double tap, okay? So you have to catch it right there. You know, right there. Where you can see down there, if you take a look, somebody wrote something. If you swipe back, it's still there. See? Like this. Like this. Now, there's another way for the people who don't have fast fingers, I guess. It's to actually go to this account and then to hit the restrict button. You know? Person is restricted. In this case, my girlfriend is restricted, which means her messages are in the request folder, which means, the scene mark is not being sent out. Now, the next thing is the thing that you probably all guys kind of get at some point. You post a regular feed post, and then you're being flooded by those spam bots targeting you, sending you some comments saying, well, DM me for promotion. You want to get collaborations for DM? We're going to look for brand partners or something like this. And sometimes it can actually get pretty annoying. You know, spam your whole feed through. Maybe even your trust score goes down just because the spammers, hit you up all the time. I'm not quite sure about that right now. There's no scientific proof behind that. But still, it just doesn't look really professional, I guess. So you can actually restrict that automatically from Instagram's side. So what you're gonna have to do is go to your settings there, then there's a privacy tab, then you're gonna hit the comments tab right here, and there's a thing called manual filter. You wanna enable this whole thing, and you wanna be really smart about what kind of words are being automatically filtered by the system. For example, DM or collaboration. Sometimes those spammers actually, in my case, they use different words or different, for example, contact this hacker down below. And I'm sure if you look down below in these comments here on YouTube as well, you're going to see some of those. So you're going to want to take a little bit of your time and check out, what kinds of spam messages do you get. But usually if you just DM collaboration, you're going to filter out 90% of all those spammers, which is actually pretty good, which is going to clean up your profile a lot more, make it look a lot more professional. The next thing is the thing that we talked about right here on this channel. We actually figured it out live on one of our live streams, so you might want to check out my live streams once they're up again. But basically figuring out the exact reach that you get from a specific post in terms of the hashtag. So you can actually nail down your hashtag strategy and, grow with that. The hack was the following. Usually if you go into the post insights, which you should study really, really in depth, you can see down below, for example, this post got 2,000 impressions from the hashtags, but that's about it. You're like, okay, one of the hashtags that I used there, or a bunch of those hashtags, might have worked well, but we don't really know what. Now, here's the thing to actually figure out which specific hashtags worked really well. And this is a little bit of an update of the video that I did a few months back. Promote this whole thing, whatever, select the goal, for example, hit the next, automatic. It really doesn't matter. You just want to put whatever here, next. And right before it's the review, okay? Before that, we created the promotion and then we disabled it again. It messes up your ad account, I figured out. But basically, you just want to hit the cancel again and save draft, all right? This is important. I've heard a bunch of people say, well, I don't have the save draft feature yet. In that case, you're going to have to use the old method, right? Basically going through with the promotion and then deleting it right before it actually gets approved, so you won't get charged. But anyway, the thing that you want to see is this complete promotion button right on the right side. You're going to hit the insights, and if you go down there, you actually see the full list of hashtags that you ranked on. In my case, half of the impressions came from hashtag style fashion. Pretty neat, I guess, because you can use this intel that gather to craft your hashtag strategy to analyze all of your posts in terms of hashtags. By the way, there's a cool tool called Hashtastic that I, really recommend you guys to use. They have another feature to actually figure out your ranking in the hashtags. But basically, using this information alone, you can get your account to blow up just using hashtags if you're a little bit lucky as well. Now, the next one is actually a very, very special one, my friends. You're gonna have to go to the YouTube app for that. This is a very secret hack, actually. You're gonna put in heyDominik. You're gonna have to search heyDominik, which is this channel, on the YouTube app. You're gonna go to videos, and the last video that you have right there, it depends on which one's your last, you're just gonna hit the like button on this video. It actually works, just so you know. Anyway, we have another hack going up. If you guys watch my videos here, if you guys watch my channel here, or my free training down below, IGinsidersecrets.com, where we kind of deconstruct the Instagram strategy that works in 21 and the whole Instagram algorithm, you probably might have heard that you want people to stay on your content as long as possible, to interact with your content as long as possible. And there's naturally some ways to help people with that. Namely, for example, stories. Because if you just have a regular picture story without any text in it, chances are people are just gonna look at it for 1 second and that's it. And then you're just gonna continue to the next story. And basically your content view time is as low as possible, right? You can up that obviously with some text in there, for people to read things. And apparently, and that's just the way that it works, the photo sharing app is mostly about video these days. And sometimes you take a picture and you're like, oh God, I should have taken a boomerang, because there's way more liveliness inside the picture. It's way more interesting for the eye, for the ADD brain as well. And sometimes I just cry in the corner because I didn't take a boomerang. But here's the thing, my friends, if you have an iPhone, not sure about the other Androids, probably as well, I guess. But there's this feature called Live Photos, which is enabled by default, I guess. Did you know that you can actually take every photo that you took with Live and turn it into a boomerang? Yes, my friends. So I'm gonna show you how to do that right here. You're gonna load a regular picture in it, right? And what you wanna do is, first of all, you wanna wait until it loads, but then you just wanna press longer on the screen. And all of a sudden you can see it's a boomerang. See, there's things moving in this picture. All of a sudden, people watch a lot longer, benefiting you. And here's the thing, this is actually the next tip that we have about this whole boomerang thing. Did you know whenever you take a boomerang, you can actually change the settings on the boomerang? I didn't know that before. I actually just figured it out by chance. If you click on the top right there on this boomerang, you can say it's a classic boomerang. You can say it's a slow-mo boomerang, for example. You can say it's an echo boomerang, something like this. Or a dual boomerang where it's like faster. Or off. You can turn it off again too. Basically, just gives you a lot more possibilities at what to do with your boomerangs to make it a little bit more interesting, for example. Because you always want to kind of make it a little more interesting than the rest of the crowd. For example, everybody takes boomerangs, the brain kind of gets used to it. Then you're going to want to, for example, create a double time boomerang or a slow-mo boomerang just for people to snap them out of their pattern, the brain out of their autopilot, to, for the brain to think, okay, this is a boomerang, but it's a little different. What's going on there? And this is exactly what we're going to do with that. Talking about this whole thing, there's actually another thing to make people stay longer on your stories. Did you know that, this is how it looks right here. Did you know that if you hit the create button, which almost nobody uses in my opinion, you could swipe here on the right. There's a bunch of things, but one thing actually is this GIF thing, where it kind of adds a GIF background to your videos just to make, keep the brain occupied. For example, this GIF, let's just choose, you can basically search crying, for example, and then you see all of those things. There you go. Pikachu, basically. As you can see there, you have like this repeated pattern in the background, and it's just interesting for people. And here's the thing, there's a few hacks, coming right from TikTok or Reels actually, which we're gonna discuss in another video. But there's this new thing, because the way that the algorithm works, wait for it, right? Just put in wait for it. And people are gonna just stay waiting for it, and nothing's gonna happen. They're gonna play through the story. Obviously works a lot better with Reels, which tells the algorithm, well, this is actually something. So they're gonna up your reach, and you're gonna see just with that, your story views, for example, or your Reels views are gonna go up quite a bit. There's actually some quite trending things where they're like, you would have never thought that this is actually a photo, but it actually is a photo sometimes, and people just wait until something happens. Why they do this? Obviously because the algorithm tracks how long people stay, how often people watch your content. Same thing for stories. this is a great way to up your story views, for example. And talking about reels, by the way, this is a great reel. I don't know if I can show this right here. It didn't get pushed out by the algorithm at all, if you can see that right here. But basically, did you know that if you share your reels in your story, it actually counts as a reels view as well if they stay more than, I think, more than 5 seconds or 3 seconds. I think it's 5 seconds, but you can actually hack that as well. And I'm actually against all those hacks, you know, actually, but there's still a few interesting hacks. For example, we take this reel, just use this reel, for example, and then you're gonna add the reel to your story, right? Obviously, you could do that. Obviously, you should do that. But, you know, in another story or on the same day or a little later, you're going to want to just make this smaller and then just, for example, add something to it. For example, then you're going to make it black and then you're going to write, you know, for example, a poll, yes or no. You're going to write something here. Hey, do you like pina colada? Or just make this black right here, whatever. It really doesn't matter. Or another thing you can do, just add a picture on top of this and then start writing whatever it is. La 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 la. You know, just basically make people stay on there as long as possible. In the background, your Reels is actually playing and it counts as a Reels view, you know, pushing your Reels out, especially if you don't have that many Reels views yet. And ideally, you use this thing to actually, you know, have long form content there. The more, you know, maybe text things are in there or more interactive things. Think of things where people would want to stay more than 5 seconds at least. So it actually counts as a Reels view. Anyway, those were some tips, I guess, some hacks that you've probably never heard before. I actually have a whole list of more. So let me know down below in the comments if you want to have a part 2 of this thing. And if you guys are interested in learning how to grow your brand, how to grow your Instagram with real strategies and updated strategies in 21, because hint, the game's kind of changed. It's totally different than it was just a year and a half ago. Yeah, I have some playlists right here where you can learn the updated strategies. I also have a free training down below, iginsidersecrets.com. And yeah, other than that, yeah, there's a lot of content on this channel as well that could benefit you if you're interested in, you know, growing your brand on Instagram mainly, and on social media, and on YouTube. Anyway, I'll see you guys later in a few days.